This video is going to be my normal video update. I'm going to go over a lot of different stocks that you're familiar with. After all, 80% of my views are from returning subscribers. If that's you, give yourself a thumbs up. I see them coming in. Thanks to you guys. I really do appreciate it. Let's get going with Tesla first. On the hourly time frame, I was forecasting a bounce here, pushing up for Minuet Wave 5, which is going to be shown in blue up here towards 226. The price made a nice move higher and is retracing, and in after hours it's kind of listing to the side. This looks pretty good to me, honestly. The RSI is below 50, but it could be starting to form a swing pattern, which is a W. It's basically like a double bottom in a stock price, but it's on the RSI. I know the RSI can make patterns, it really can, but they're generally more simple, and that's because it's of course based on different averages. You can see a similar swing pattern back here where we had the RSI coming down to 50 in early February, forming that W and then pushing higher, going into overbought quite a bit as we found the top of Minuet Wave 3. I'm thinking that Minuet Wave 5 could play out in a very similar manner. Now going into Apple, I was kind of surprised that Apple didn't rally with Tesla, and I'm a little worried because we hit some resistance at 148 and the price trended down from there. This kind of looks like an expanding flat to me. And by that, I just want to say that it could be a corrective phase in a bull trend where you've got A, B, and C, but then I have a push down, right? So now I've got to reconcile this. And actually the answer is I labeled that wrong. In a counter trend, A is the first point, and then you go B and then C. So, okay, whew, that was scary for a moment there. This could be motive wave 1, 2, and we're looking for 3, and that pushes up to 152. It's going to be very hard to tell when I'm going to get a bullish signal here. It's probably going to occur as, look, the RSI turns up from 41, which seems to be a better indicator than 50. You can see there's a couple other different turns here up in the RSI. And that occurs here at the in Minuet Wave 5, just like in Tesla. You can see it comes down, pushes up. I mean, it's possible that we get that, and we get this nice strong push to 152. I can see Tesla and Apple both pushing higher. Going into NVIDIA next. I've been following chart patterns here, less Elliott wave, and the price is just bouncing back and forth. Looks like it might be an extension of a corrective pattern, and that is going to throw me for a loop a little bit. I'm going to have to, geez. I mean, it looks like it could drop quite a bit before making a third touch point on the bottom of that right-angled and broadening descending formation. Right-angle and descending formation. I don't know. Sometimes the chart pattern names are weird. Anyway, NVIDIA is looking a little less bullish to me. That's going to be a hard one to trade. I don't know what to say about NVIDIA. I think if it trends with the markets, it could push back up and find more resistance at 237, and then we'll talk again here. Let's go into GameStop. I didn't do GameStop in my AMC video. I started drawing GameStop in a triangle. It just felt right. The wave count made sense, and the way that the price is grinding sideways, it makes too much sense. Implied volatility is just continuing to drop, and the price does that, or that forms as price just grinds sideways. Volume is showing no signs of life, and while the RSI did have a bullish divergence, we saw a move higher in the RSI, but it was very lackluster in the price. Let's zoom in on that just a little bit. Yes, you can see I expected wave 5 to end, and it looks like wave 5 might have just a little further to go. That doesn't necessarily mean that this can't be the end of wave 5 though. And actually I'm not gonna, I want to keep that there, but I want to bear in mind there might be more downside for wave 5, but also if this is the end of wave 5, then we're looking for a bounce in GameStop as well. And that would be nice. I would like that. Let's go into Bitcoin next. I keep forgetting to do Bitcoin, and it's just like, oh man, I'm sorry. Here we go, Bitcoin. I'm supposing that we're in a broadening top, and we're going to look for a third touch point along this bottom trend line. So the price has a lot of downside to move before it gets there. The more I look at this chart, the longer I need to look at it. It's like I just keep coming up with more questions than answers. This grind sideways is pretty brutal, especially after we already had like a triangle through here. So the price is moving slowly down. There is a downtrend that broke, but now the price is back below the downtrend. But also, we're only ever so slightly above the last low on this time frame, and there isn't an external trend line that I can draw through here. So Bitcoin is kind of looking, it's like a ship's just listing out there and no wind. It's just sailing sideways, which, you know, considering that the max wave 4 retracement was 23,645. Let's see, what was that motive wave count? I wonder if this was 1, 2, and this is 3. Yeah, so we could be developing a third wave extension and just grinding sideways in that sub-minuet wave 2. Still, I'm gonna need more time with Bitcoin. We'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. SPXU, the inverse short ETF of SPY, having a pretty good day today, pushing higher, not setting a new high above minuet level 3. At this point, it gets really hard to read the chart because we are in some sort of extended correction phase. If it's ended and we're seeing a new motive wave, we haven't seen the RSI reach overbought yet, and that's a pretty good signal. The RSI is a fantastic tool for identifying the tops of motive waves. I don't see that. But at the same time, you can see my measured move down targets are no longer going to apply because look at how tight the price is. So now we're going to look for a flat, yes, where point A is the first push down, point B is this push up, and then C will fall down here somewhere near 1460. And if SPXU is falling, that means SPY is rising. Again, more confluence that supports a market bounce. And remember, I'm bearish. It's just the bounce makes sense right now. It's important to be open-minded to that. But always expect the unexpected. And the dollar is now bouncing, which is to be expected after you get a big push like that. What I'm looking for is a corrective wave down. So that's going to look like an ABC formation. The first wave is going to have 5 little waves inside of it. The second wave is going to have 3, and then that third wave would also have 5. It could play out in a different way, just a little bit, but that's the gist of it. After we find ourselves out of a leading diagonal triangle with an overthrow of the top, forming point 5, I think a zigzag makes a lot of sense to me. I'll need to figure out why. It's just my gut, but I think I can spot a motive wave going through here, and it's probably smaller. We've got some expanding flat, and looking down for that 104 level is still appropriate, I believe. And if that's the case, the dollar dropping would support market rally. Again, still supporting a bounce. Still supporting a bounce. I think yesterday I actually called for a sideways chop and then a bounce. And I'm feeling like that sideways chop it's probably almost over. We probably have another pop coming up unless there's like a news event or some economic data that I'm not anticipating that is going to catch me in my blind spot. But that's okay. I do my best just to stick to the charts. I really do. VIX is continuing its trend downwards towards that trend line. And I said that I don't expect to get there, but it's very possible that we do. I'm going to start a zigzag study really quick and say, hey, we've already reached 100%. So, VIX could actually rise. Ooh, interesting. You could find more downside too. So the VIX isn't really giving us a clear indicator. It did come up though today. I'm thinking we want to see it continue to drop to finish out a motive wave of this leg. I can look into that more, and I want to say that yesterday or tomorrow I'm going to have more answers. I'm going to watch this video again tomorrow, and then I'm going to do a bunch of analysis, and then I'm going to make my video. And so we'll get a lot of closure. We might get a big move tomorrow that's going to resolve a lot of these questions. So it's going to be very important to be in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord. And don't come in my Discord and spam because my mods are just going to take care of you. Thank you, Obi-Wan. You rock. All right, moving on. I think we've done most of the tickers here except for Playboy, which I thought was going to have earnings today. And then it didn't have earnings today. And I blame Thinkorswim for misinforming me. Look at this. If I turn on equities, show corporate actions, they'll have this like little question mark here. And it's like, oh, what's that? Earnings? But no earnings. So I kind of loaded up a little bit on Playboy. That's fine. So hoping for a little more. If the markets do bounce in general, that'll help me here on Playboy as well. It's kind of hard to see, but there is an ABC corrective push higher, reaching that 224 level right at the beginning of the day. Was that today? That was today, yeah. That completes that move, and this push down, this is probably going to serve as a double 3, and this one is probably... Jeez, I don't want to see Playboy drop again, but honestly, like it could come back down to 201, form that sweet double bottom before pushing up higher. It's possible. It looks like it's heading that way. Of course, I just want to see it fly, but that, it's all right. It's all right. I'm taking the gains from trading 0-day expiration options on SPY, and I'm accumulating a position in Playboy. I want to show my trades here really quickly. I don't want to make this video too long, but there you go. You can see I entered 100 here, bailed out, and then I'm buying back in at lower prices. So I think I'm doing a pretty good job here overall. I covered all of the stocks this time. I didn't forget a single one. If there's something else you want to look at, I'll look at it. Someone requested QQQ or QQQs. Okay, haven't looked at this at all, obviously, but my instinct is to say, hey, look at this. There's probably some sort of channel going on through here. Let me just do this and this, probably 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, can't pull them to 1. So this is probably an irregular top where this uptrend is going to define this motive move. Yes, and the top is actually probably right here. This is probably A, B, and C. So that means that the top of the motive wave, it's probably an irregular top. I'm going to have to look into this a little bit more. And then we've got this weird corrective pattern where it's the first push down, and then you get B, and then what do you call this? This is not running, or is it expanding? Is it, geez, I'm not very good with the corrective waves. Nonetheless, I think we can do a little zigzag study really quickly and try to get an idea if we've seen the extent of the downside. The answer is yes. And actually reaching that 161.8% level, this makes me suspect that this is the motive wave in development. But for that to be true, then this peak can't be higher than this peak, and it's damn close. Let's zoom in a little bit here, and you might hear my cat there in the background being crazy. It's, wow, look at that. 310.79, and the high through here was 310.60. So this was close, but this can be 1, 2, 3, and then wave 4 would be coming up, testing that level towards 298, which we did kind of see, and then wave 5, 1, 2, 3. Wave 4 wouldn't be coming up into wave 1 though, so it might be an extension of wave 4, and wave 5 beckons in the future heading down. I can also easily see an inverted head and shoulders through here, which would suggest that we've had a truncated fifth. So that's the line to watch for QQQ tomorrow. If the price can get above that line, then great, off to the races. If not, then not great. This looks a lot like SPY. And this being, of course, QQQ, it makes me think, hey, Playboy is related here. So another dip and coming down and testing that low with Playboy alongside. That makes a lot of sense to me. All right, that's going to be all for today. I'm out of here.